So the US-Iran tensions have been intensifying over the course of the last month. Some say that it's actually been worsening over the last year, ever since Donald Trump unilaterally pulled the United States out of the 2015 Iranian nuclear agreement that also goes by the name JCPOA. Now, the region is, of course, facing a huge geopolitical crisis precipitated largely by the United States. And Iran, in the latest development, has shot down a US drone, the one that you're actually looking at on your screens, over the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Iran says that the United States breached its national sovereignty, and this particular drone actually violated Iranian airspace. It has also accused Washington of deepening tensions in the region. Let's listen in to how the US President Donald Trump has responded to this latest development.
Now, Iran made a big mistake. This drone was in international waters. Clearly, we have it all documented. It's documented scientifically, not just words. And they made a very bad mistake.
How will you respond, Mr. President? How will you respond?
You'll find out.
Are you willing to go to war with Iran?
You'll find out. You'll find out.
All right, now, Iran, for its part, claims that the drone that was shot down is, of course, a spy drone. This is acknowledged by the United States as well. This drone is used predominantly for surveillance. And they've also stated that they'll take up this incident to the United Nations as well. Iran insists that the drone was shot down because it violated its airspace. However, the Americans, of course, maintain that it was in international airspace. Now, the U.S. Central Command has confirmed the development, but there are differences between the two statements. The United States says that Iran engaged in what the United States is describing as an unprovoked act on a U.S. surveillance asset in international airspace. Now, Trump earlier has tweeted that Iran has made a big mistake, and this also is a serious statement. As we saw earlier, the United States has varied its stances over this issue, and now the president has muddled the already pretty muddy waters. This, of course, is the tweet that was put out by the US president yesterday evening. Meanwhile, the Russian President Vladimir Putin has also made his viewpoint pretty clear as to what would be the consequences of US conducting war activities in or nearby Iran. Let's listen in.
Хочу сразу сказать, это было бы катастрофой для региона как минимум, потому что это привело бы к всплеску насилия и, может быть, к увеличению, кстати говоря, и количества беженцев из региона.
Now, this, of course, is the latest in a series of events which have been threatening to destroy peace in the region since the month of May at least. Remember, 6 oil tankers have been hit in the region, and this has, of course, led to escalation of tensions between the United States and Iran. The United States has been very quick to, in fact, accuse Iran for the attacks on these oil tankers and other cargo-related ships in the Straits of Hormuz. Now, the United States says that the drone that was downed was the MQ-4C Triton. This is used for surveillance. Iran claims that the drone was an RQ-4 Global Hawk, and the Triton, of course, is an advanced version of the Global Hawk. So there are contradictory assertions on the events from both the sides. Now, Washington says that the drone was downed over the Strait of Hormuz. It was in international airspace, is what the United States repeatedly states. But the Iranians have pointed out to the wreckage that has been shot, and they claim it was over Iranian airspace, and that is what prompted them to act. Now, this, of course, is a crucial location. Remember, almost about 20% of the world's oil actually passes through the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran has made it abundantly clear if the United States was to turn up the heat, then they would block the movement of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. So what does all of this mean? Now, Iran thinks that it has, of course, sent a strong message to the United States. Iranian Revolutionary Corps says that the Iranian airspace is their red line and that Tehran will not tolerate any intrusion. The United States has already sent an additional 1,000 troops to the region just last week. Now, with these provocations, the situation is, of course, pretty tense. It looks like a battle of who blinks first, and that's not good for the region or for the world in general. Washington and Tehran both have said that they are pretty intent on avoiding an escalation, but that is all just words because the actions point otherwise in terms of the military build-up that the United States has shown in the Strait of Hormuz. But the chain of events in the recent past, of course, suggests otherwise. Iran has now announced that it will be increasing its uranium enrichment process. The United States is adopting an increasingly hostile and what can only be described as a militaristic strategy. And the clock, of course, is ticking. Iran has set a deadline of the 27th of June. Tehran says that it will breach the limits of uranium stockpiles on that day, and this limit was part of the 2015 nuclear agreement deal, which has been violated fairly and squarely by the United States. At this point of time, there is no broad consensus on the tensions in the Gulf. A few days ago, the United States, remember, had also put out videos, and it alleged that it was Iran that was behind the attack on the oil tankers. And now a US drone has been shot down. Britain is, of course, as it always does, siding with the United States, while Germany and France are trying to get Iran to still adhere to the nuclear deal of 2015. But now Iran says the deal, because it has now been violated by the United States, is virtually null and void. Now, a meeting of Joint Comprehensive Action, that is the JCPOA, is due on the 28th of June in Vienna. It is expected that there will be some consensus that would be sought to be arrived at on the 28th of June. But at the rate at which the situation is worsened, there could be more developments between now and then. And the world is, of course, watching with a lot of concern as to what the United States will do next.